up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders and cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling like NVIDIA today. Hope you guys are just hitting all-time highs. Not really all-time highs, but hope you guys are hitting all-time highs. NVIDIA still a little short of it, but it's good. They had good earnings and maybe helped give this market a little bit of breathing room for just one more day. Let's see. We got SPY. We'll start on this as usual as you guys kind of start to pile in. We got Chuck. Good morning. Good morning, Al. Andrew's with us. We got Ashlyn in the house. Good morning, Babbitt, Brian, Carrie, Christopher, David. Jenny is with us. GW. Good morning. Jason P. King, JT, Liza, Lucian, Marcus, Martina, Marissa. Good morning. We got Rick. And then, no. We also got Rick GJ in the house. Good morning to both of you. We got Ron, Stacy, Sue, Terrence, Win, Yovars, all my peeps at YouTube land. Good morning. Hope you guys are feeling absolutely fantastic and ready to go. Attorney Dan is in the house. Oof. We got the squadron here now. Now the party can start. Now we can start the party. All right. So yeah, I do like this gap a lot actually on the SPY. It's a sneaky little gap and go. Technically, it's still inside day, right? So we're still technically in that range. But what I do like about this is a gap over two VPOCs. We have first target on SPY somewhere around 401.43. And I don't think that's a huge one because we already almost got up there yesterday. So that one's already been retested. That gives me my next target probably up to about 403.80. That's going to give us a little bit of room to work with in a bullish direction. Because we are inside, again, we still might have some kind of initial opening sell candle. We had some reports come out today. GDP came out. We had some employment numbers come out. Not great numbers again, right? Not great numbers. And we had the big thing yesterday that caused the market. So let's go into, I don't know, we'll go into the 15-minute chart. I think we can see pretty clearly there. But we sold off. We rallied right up until that 2 o'clock Fed notes. Again, the notes was on a previous Fed meeting about 3 weeks ago. Most of the information that comes out during the notes, we already know, right? We for the most part, nothing new, nothing changes. The only reason, and therefore you typically don't get a huge move off the notes, but the reason that notes are important is because you're looking at what was the other sentiment in the room? What is the other Fed members thinking during that meeting? Where are they essentially putting their process? Because eventually they're going to get to vote on where the rate hike is, and they're going to come out. They're going to be on different shows, doing different interviews, and putting out kind of that opinion. And that's going to affect the market and give us a little bit different look as to, besides what Jerome Powell has said and what we already know, how many people are thinking like Jerome Powell and how many not, right? And we've had, and I think it was the day before yesterday, so 2 days ago, I think we had, I don't know if it was 2 days ago or beginning of the week sometime, but we had, I think it was just the day before, something like that. But we had Bullard come out, and he started to already say, I think maybe a 50-point basis hike is on the table, right? 50 point. It's just that the market is not really expecting a 50-point hike. We had that huge drop from that. I honestly think that because he came out and already said that helped actually save some of the blow that we could have seen yesterday. I think if he did not come out and say that, we would have probably sold off because nobody was expecting that 50% or 50-point basis hike, right? So I think he actually helped save some of that. And the other key word in the Fed, I think it was Bullard. I think Lissette already came out and was saying 50 points. But in there, they didn't say that only 2 Fed members were thinking like that. They said a few, right? So we might have 3 or 4 other Fed, or 2 other Fed members beside those 2 that are also kind of thinking the same way. That means it's not exactly majority. So we're not quite like, okay, yeah, definitely the 0.2, But I do think that puts a lot of I think that's going to continue to shift a lot of the importance on some of these numbers that come out. Pre-market unemployment numbers, the CPI is going to be a huge one again. And I think we're right back to just data dependency. Also, you can check out the Fed futures rate too. Essentially, I think the Fed, what they're doing is kind of putting it into the market's hands. We'll actually go through some of the Fed futures and just how to find them if you guys are not familiar a little bit later today, but we'll get into some stocks now. But I think right now we're still, I think, comfortable with 0.25. I think that's the still more realistic number that's coming out, at least according to the Fed futures. But the 0.5 point basis hike did increase quite a little bit from number one from Bullard, and then again it jumped yesterday. So it's starting to itch where that's more of a possibility. I don't think we're quite there yet. But otherwise, for today, again, this is a decent gap and go. We have pretty much selling all day yesterday for the most part. Obviously, a big candle coming in here. We've sold for now, even though, again, this is a green day. Yeah, it's higher than it opened, but we're still lower than the day before. So realistically, we've now had 1, 2, 3, 4 days of selling. We are getting a little bit of a gap up above a VPOC. And yeah, I'm going to shift actually a little bit bullish. I think today's a decent day to buy the dip. And I think we have a story with NVIDIA as to why that could make sense as well. Hector says it's going to 1,000. Just depends on your time frame, Hector. Just depends. I like how you didn't say today. All right, we got the Qs looking very, very similar, maybe slightly stronger as the fact that we're just getting over the entire day yesterday, at least the opening range. So we're not quite there on the SPY. Obviously, I do think the Q is probably going to be a little bit stronger because it's going to be NVIDIA that's going to be leading the pack. We also had BABA come out with earnings today too, which were pretty outstanding as well. And I believe they're jumping. You might see some sympathy play on Baidu as well. We'll take a look at some of those now. Let's start. We might as well just start right with NVIDIA. This is the plan we tried, which would have worked out pretty nice yesterday. Let me just delete this. And yeah, we have to scroll. My target that I've had for a while is 240.79. That's just based on a previous VPOC or pocket of liquidity. So somewhere in the 240.79. I could even see it maybe actually a little lower, 239.36, but somewhere in that range is a potential. We're kind of in an area right now. There's zero liquidity. So it's going to be easier to move between 237.16 and then back down to 227.80. It's a massive gap. It's a massive gap for today. Definitely clearing a lot of things. I want to lean bullish, but not at open. If you see kind of where this pocket is, we're about 50% in it. So realistically, I think here's our pocket, something like this. If we could get a lower move, then yeah, I'm going to look to buy the dip. Otherwise, I'll just either miss it right now in a bullish direction or just wait. But I can't really chase it after it's up, I don't know, 12%, something like that. It's a big move. If anybody listens to a conference call, all they really did was just pump AI. So the entire call was just how AI is exploding, the next big thing. So again, watch any of the AI stocks. Sympathy play to NVIDIA might, well, usually is AMD. So we could probably see something come in on AMD. Does the market love low interest rates? The market, small businesses or businesses in general, and the economy likes low interest rates. Yep. Businesses, yeah, it's definitely helpful for businesses as well, because especially those companies that aren't the more established ones, they actually might lean with a slight edge. If they have a ton of cash on their books just sitting there, they might actually have an advantage during higher interest rates because they don't need to borrow the money. But really anything in tech is like if you're investing in a tech company, you want them to almost have no money on especially being a newer company, because this way they should be investing heavily into the business. So as soon as money comes in, it should be going out for more research, more development, more products, things like that, to just kind of stay ahead of the technology curve. So depends on the type of business that it is. But yeah, typically the market will do better, even in the crypto space, just because the money is cheaper to get, right? So even in just an investing world, if money's easy to get, if I could get money and borrow money for close to 0% interest, guess what I could do? I mean, I don't have to be that crazy of a good investor or day trader or play Bitcoin to make a return above whatever I'm paying on that money, right? But if the interest rate starts going to 7, 8, 9, 10%, well, we know that over the long term on the stock market, your average rate of return is about 10% on just buying, let's say, the SPY ETF, right? So now you have to start outpacing the market just to break even on money you're borrowing, right? So it becomes a little tougher. So yeah, the more money there is in the economy, the more likely people will invest. If they don't have money, they can't invest it. Win says kills the housing market with trickle down. Yeah. I don't think we've actually seen. I mean, Hector could speak to it more, but I don't think we've seen a real pullback, at least that we're expecting, and I don't think I've seen it in stocks yet either, to be honest. So, we'll see. We'll see how this thing wants to play out. AMD, nice little gap up, gapping above 3 days, right, pretty much into the 10 EMA. So this one again, I mean, yes, Nvidia has some room to run. It is up massive. AMD definitely has some room to run too. But we have a couple of key levels that we got to break through first. First one being this 81.33. So if I was to play AMD out of the gate, I don't really have that much room to the higher side. And even though this is a gap up, at least for now, my risk to reward becomes shorting AMD. And I'm not saying that it's going short, because I really don't know how I could play this in long when I have about $1, not even. I have about 70 cents to the high side before we start maybe coming into a little resistance. And if we do break that, now we look at 82.68. So yeah, that's a little bit better of a target if we can get into there. If you believe that this is nonsensical and this one is really the target and we see a path to 82.88, there might be a trade. Otherwise, again, it's either short, which is going to be rough, wait for this thing to come down, maybe a little bit later, maybe when Johnny gets in, we're looking for buy the dip, something like that. Ron says also less competition to the markets. Bonds, interest rates interest rates are lower. Yeah. If you could just park your money for the next 6 months in a T-bill for 5%, essentially risk-free, why would you, unless you thought this market was absolutely going to rip, and I don't think so. I think we're probably more in a chop zone for next 3 weeks. But why take on the extra risk to get an extra 5% when you could go down 30%? Or you could just sit your money essentially risk-free in T-bills and just get 5%. I don't know. Win says, what happens in the next 3 weeks? Next 3 weeks is when we start to have more of the, I believe we have the CPI coming out, and then we should have more Fed hikes. So I think we're in limbo for 3 weeks. All right, we get Netflix. Yeah, this is a retest gap. See if we can come a little bit lower. A better price to buy it off of would be like 333.11. Again, it is a retest gap to the higher side right now. If we come in for a retest, even if we come into this VPOC, that's going to give us about $4 to the higher side, and that means we have to get to VPOC, right? This retest could hit the low of the day balance. This retest could also hit 334. So you just don't have a wide range on this one, but that is a bearish gap to go. I know Roku reported already. Is this down on some kind of news? I don't know if there's a sympathy play. Technology services, 2 hours. Does not pay dividends. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why this is gapping down, but all right. All right. Let's take a look at let's go to Baba first, and then we'll take a look at Tesla. We'll go Baba, Baidu, and the Tessie. And then Babak wants to look at Unity Software. We'll take a look at that. Here's another one. So Baba, very, very nice gap on earnings. And again, and I back when it was $55 a share, I was making the case, probably the not most popular argument ever, but I was like, you know what? No, I guess it wasn't 55. We were somewhere out in this range, and I'm like, you know what? Baba's probably not a bad spot. Even now, I think you're still very undervalued for the company as a whole, right? If we want to talk long term, yeah, we are very undervalued. The bigger thing is geopolitical, right? So if you're worried about China, Taiwan, U.S. involvement, all of that, I mean, that's going to be a risk. I think it's a risk any day of the week for any stock. But if you're not so worried about that over the course of the next 10 years, and or even today, if we took all that off the table, if Biden and China meet and go, okay, there's nothing, we're not doing anything. Taiwan and China shake hands. You take that off. This is a highly undervalued company. Baidu is the same, but obviously we do have geopolitical risks. So play how you want to with your portfolio. But we are into a little bit of resistance pre-market. So again, even though this is a beautiful looking gap and go, this one might actually have a little bit of room to fade lower, more so than NVIDIA. So if I had to fade a gap and go, it would be Baba over NVIDIA. And then if we get higher, yeah, we come into the daily 10 EMA. Plus, we also got 101.60, a much longer term VPOC. We'll have to see. Let's see. I love when Win sends me a link. It just sends me random links. I love Win. Real estate trends: pending home sales have declined for 6 months straight. Yeah, they declined, but I don't think we've seen the pullback, at least that I'm expecting. Digging deeper into the numbers show steady relative steep decline over the last 6 months of data. Yep. Yeah. Well, the more we'll get it. Actually, we'll get into it a little more after the bell. But the housing market is a very interesting concept right now. BIDU. That in stocks, I can make a case for both. To be honest, I still think we're way over. Liam says, I think they're lowering prices on subs for Netflix. Got you. I did sell relatively high on Netflix, but I will be buying back eventually. I still like them, but I'm gonna let it shake out and pan out. Big old bearish engulfing candle on Baidu yesterday. Again, this is more sympathy play than anything, and into a little resistance. This is a gap up, not as impressive. So yeah, Baba has a lot more attention to it than Baidu today, so that's the one I'd be focusing on. Babak wants to look at Unity Software. Many markets have come down single digits. Many have not. Yeah, very, very area driven as far as the housing prices go. I don't think we're getting anywhere close to a 2008 type housing pullback by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think we have to pull back a little bit more. I don't know. Here's a gap and go on Unity Software. It looks decent again. We're just gapping into this is the problem with these chops. There's momentum market and there's chop market, right? Chop market, we have these ranges. We have this range right here. To some extent, this would be my range. And anytime you get there, it's a sell. Anytime you get here, it's usually a buy. Right? We have all of this consolidation right here as well. That's going to be a key spot. So I'm just thinking that I don't know how much this flushes. I don't know. I think this is again, just kind of keep doing that same thing. Just buy here when people are selling, sell here when people are buying, and just play that back and forth to survive chop markets. Momentum markets, yeah, you're probably looking at these breakouts up top, and you're like, okay, we're breaking out, we're going to keep running, right? If we were in a bullish momentum market, that would be the break, and then you'd probably see some kind of follow through. And we just don't. I haven't seen it really on anything lately. All right, let's see what else we got. The Yeti. Ron says I need to sell my house. Hector just sent you his phone number right now. He's like, all right, I'll buy it. How much you selling it for? There's some vultures up in here, Ron. You can't be putting blanket statements out like that. I need to sell my house. Play hard to get, Ron. Play hard to get. Be like, yeah, I'm considering, but I don't know. He sent it off already. All right, we got Yeti. That's a gross. Yeah, this looks like a short and a half. I don't even know how much this one retests. There's your high volume candles. They're all taken out. Obviously we did have, looks like we had another high volume candle here, which was decent. Some of those guys might have got shaken out already, and we're just kind of futzing around. This is a retest gap, so let's see if we can not be the first ones to buy. I'm gonna throw this. I don't have this even on my list, but it is going on today. I don't even know how Yeti trades, to be honest. But if we get a green candle or high wave or something, I can take a breakdown. We do have some room to run lower. So we will add it. Ira says CD rates are good right now too. Yeah, CD rates are good. I saw Capital One, I think, is doing a promotion. I think it's 11-month for 5%. So, I mean, locking some money away and not really having to worry about it. Okay. All right, let's see. It says Yeti. Truth and Huber. All right, Tesla. Yeah, Tesla's just still in this range, unfortunately. A little bit of a hammer yesterday. This would be a retest gap. So if I was to play, and again, I kind of want the markets to drop a little bit, which this would fit that scenario, but I'm thinking if we could get some kind of entry at this is bullish. Okay. We get stops right about here. This is a stop. Okay, let me just run the numbers real quick on this one. 201.58 by that's a wide stop, isn't it? 195.82. This would actually probably be a better swing than a day trade, but let me see. 195 points. Is it 62 or 82? 82. For 2 hours, we'd have to get it to 213 range. I'd have to come a little bit tighter on those stops. 197.05. Let's see what that gives us. I might be looking for a pre-market if it comes down. Pre-market setup. Let's go 210.64. I still need too much. All right. Well, let's lower the entry a little bit. Might as well get somewhat of a better price. 201.17. But essentially what I'm doing is I'm looking for a retest I don't think I like the hammer that came in yesterday. Is good, very good trappy-ish looking hammer. Again, that hasn't been retested, so 195, 197.56. Should I have to get this thing a little bit tighter just to but I still want to be on the outside of this VPOC as well. That gives me 208. All right, that's gonna be official. My personal day trade Tesla 201.17 by 197.56. Let me throw this in Slack. I'll throw it in the broker. We'll see what if we can get some kind of a wick. Maybe we do. Maybe we get skipped. Who knows? And I'll just sit this one here for probably most of the day. All right, so we got trade there. Let me just make sure I get this in the broker. It's too early. I gotta log in still. You guys think I'm too aggressive in the morning? I don't know where my target is, but 2 hours is 209.39, so I think that's still a doable target. Brock says no. They gotta text me from my security code. Stop it. Stop it. Hector says nah. Hector doesn't think I'm aggressive. Meanwhile, he sent Ron not only one offer, but he sent the revised offer too. And then he had Luis send an offer as well to Ron under a different company name. It's crazy. It's crazy. He said, no, I'm not affiliated with Hector. I promise. I know somebody that starts his day with a blind trade of 20K shares of whatever he's trading. How many times did he blow up his account, though, is the real question. When? How many times? No idea. It doesn't take forever for this to load on this stupid account. Crazy. Oh, it's Ross Cameron. Yeah. I don't have the right words. I don't have the right words. Let's just put it like that. This is Tesla. Limit spans 2001.17. All right, I'll roll with it. Is it scammer? I don't know if I want to go down that path, but I don't. So he's moving 20,000, right? Shares. I have no clue what size account he has, right? But I know it's probably decent. The problem is not so much how many shares he chooses to decide to trade, but it comes down to like other people following him don't have the same size account, and they're making like he can lose a 20,000 share trade. All right, we got 1 more second left. Unfortunately, we got to end this stream. Appreciate all you guys in YouTube land for tuning in each and every day. We will check you guys out tomorrow. Check out reallifetrading.com. We have beginner, intermediate, and advanced courses. Make sure on the way out, you guys hit the little thumbs up button and like and subscribe for all the latest content.